Today we're going to talk about linked smart objects. Hey guys, welcome to dvwLEARN. My name is Amandeep Singh. In our last tutorial video, we discussed smart objects and we also spoke about two types of smart objects, which is embedded smart object and linked smart object. So linked smart objects are the smart objects which reference its content from a source file, as compared to embedded smart objects which actually copy all the content from the source file onto the layer itself. So let's quickly see how you can use linked smart objects in Photoshop. First of all, we will go to File menu and we will go to Place Linked. I will choose text.psd to place this file as a linked smart object. Once I hit place, I will see my PSD file ready to be resized and placed on my document. I will press and hold the Shift key to make sure that I do not change the aspect ratio, and then I can accept the transformation. Now if I go to the layers panel, I will see the text layer and I will also see this icon with a chain on it. This tells me that this is a linked smart object and it's referencing its content from a source file. I will go to File, Open to open another document. So let's open branches.psd. Here I will do the same thing again. I will go to File, Place Linked and choose text.psd again. I'm repeating the same steps that I did before, pressing and holding the Shift key and resizing my placed document. And then I can go back to the layers panel again to confirm that this is a linked smart object. Now I will go back to File, Open again, and this time I will open bird.psd. I'm going to use this third document to embed a smart object. So I will go to File, Place Embedded, and use the same text.psd file again. And like I did before, I will just resize it by pressing and holding the Shift key and relocate it. Now I will go to the layers panel to confirm that this is an embedded smart object. And the reason why we have opened these three documents with linked smart objects in two of these documents and embedded smart object in the third document is to understand how linked smart objects work and what is the real difference between linked smart objects and embedded smart objects. Now, in our last tutorial video, we spoke about how you can edit the content of an embedded smart object. You can do a right click on the embedded smart object and say Edit Contents. Because I really don't like this gray color, so I'm going to use the Type tool and I will change the color of Learn from gray to red and accept the changes. I can close and save the file, and once I do this, I will see the obvious change in my main document, which is bird.psd, and I can see the red color here. But if I go back to my other two documents, which is branches and grass, I don't see any change. And the reason behind that is, in embedded smart object, like I said before, the content has been copied over to the smart object here, and this has no direct connection or relation with the source file. If you make any changes to this smart object, all the changes are going to be local to this document only. So if you're using the same file as embedded smart object on 10 different files and you decide to change the color from gray to red, you would literally have to open each and every file and do the same step that we have done just a moment ago, which is doing a right click and edit contents. And we would have to edit the content of each and every smart object. I will go back to grass.psd and we'll try and do the same here. If I open layers panel and do a right click and say edit contents, it's again going to open the text.psd file, and I can literally select the word and change the color from gray to maybe white and accept the changes. and I can close and save the file. And once I do that, I will see the changes in my main document, which is grass.psd. But the difference here is if I jump back to branches.psd, I will see those changes happen in the other document as well. And the reason behind that is because, as I said, linked smart object reference their content from the source file. So if I go to the layers panel and do a right click and say edit contents, I'm literally opening that source file from the hard drive and making changes to the source file itself. And because I'm making changes to the source file, all the linked smart object which is referencing to that source file will show the changes here. Now, this can be really helpful in different scenarios. So let's just suppose that you're a creative designer and you're working in a team of 500 people, and those 500 people using the same logo with the same color on hundreds of their compositions. Now, one odd day, your management decide that the color of logo should not be the red, and we really need to change on all the compositions. If you would have been using the embedded smart object, you would have to literally open each and every document and edit the content and change the color for each and every document itself. However, linked smart object can save your life here, because in linked smart object, you can just make the changes on the source file itself, and all other main documents who are using that file as a linked smart object, they would reflect the changes. So let's just quickly talk about, if you have so many advantages of linked smart object, why would you use an embedded smart object anyway? Embedded smart object is really helpful when you have to send a file to someone, or you want to move the file back and forth from one creative to the other, or from one agency to the other, for example. Now, because I said in embedded smart object, you copy all the content from the source file to the embedded smart object layer, the overall file size of the PSD becomes very big. The advantage here is that if you're using embedded smart object, you would not have to worry about moving the linked source files with the main document if you're moving it from one place to the other, or if you're sending it via email or any other method. You would just need to send the PSD file. However, in the linked smart object, you would need to worry about all the source files that you're using as linked smart object in the main document, and you would also need to make sure that you are sending those source files with the main document if you're moving or sending it to someone. Now, there's another concept of packaging in Photoshop, and packaging is really important for me to talk about right now, is because there would be scenarios where you're using so many linked smart objects, and now you need to send it to someone who's going to work on that composition from this point forward, but you really cannot convert all the linked smart objects to embedded smart objects and send it across, because there are so many of them, and it's going to increase the file size to a massive number which cannot be handled by your computer or maybe the other person's computer. So you really need to leave it as linked smart object. How would you manage to bring all the files together and make sure that you're not missing on any single file which is being used as a linked smart object? That's packaging. So if you want to package your main document, you would need to go to File, Package, and once you choose Package, it asks you to choose a place where you want to keep this package. I will keep it in Linked Object folder, and I'll say OK. Once I do that, I will go to the location where I really saved that file. I will say File, Open, and I will go to Grass folder, because this file is called as grass.psd. So Photoshop named it as Grass folder. And if I go in there, I will see my main document, which is grass.psd, and another folder called as Links. And this folder should have all of the files that I'm using as a linked smart object. And by doing this exercise of packaging, I'm ensuring that I have collected all the source files that I have used in my main document, and I can literally just go back and send this folder, which is Grass folder, to anyone via email or share folder, for example. And it ensures that the other person would have an access to all the required source files that have been used as linked smart object. So in short, you use linked smart objects where you know that you will be using the same source file on multiple documents, and there is a possibility that you might need to change that source file in the coming future. However, you would need to use the embedded smart objects where you know that you will be sending the file back and forth between different agencies or different creatives for that matter, and file size is not a big problem there. So that is all from my end about linked smart object. Guys, if you like this video and like to see more of this kind, please hit subscribe. If you have any questions or want to request a specific topic to be included in my next video, please leave your comments below. And there's another concept of smart filters that I'm going to do in my next tutorial video. I see you soon again. Thank you.